I found these axles laying around in my parts bin, so today I'm going to teach you how to install them. So grab your tools and let's get right into it. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is to bring out our TRX4M. You want to flip it over and remove the body. There's a pin here and a pin back here. So you just want to pull towards the bumpers and it'll come out like that. Set this off to the side. So now what you're going to want to do is you want to take each four-wheel off. And luckily for me, I have an electric screwdriver now, so we can go ahead and do that. I feel like a NASCAR driver when I do this. Ooh. Now, when you guys are taking off the wheels with an electric screwdriver, yes, this brand, I am not going to say the brand due to scared of copyright. This is not made for this, so there is a possibility that it's a little too aggressive with RCs, can strip bolts. But I wonder how fast it takes for somebody to take off a wheel. Like, what's the world record? All right, anyway, now that we got that done, we're going to flip it over. I said flip it over. I said flip it over. There we go. And I lied. We're going to flip it this way because there is a few sets of bolts we got to remove. So the first ones we're going to remove is these two that are holding in our links. So now I'm going to switch over to a 5.0 bit. And this one I'm going to be careful with. So if your servo's in the way, like mine just was, gently, not aggressively like I did, push it to reveal the screw. So go ahead and remove this, and since I'm using an electric screwdriver that's overpowered, I'm going to feather the trigger. And then once I feel that it's loose, I can safely hold it down to let it go. And there we go. Now it's removed. And now we can do the same for the back side. There we go. Eventually I will be upgrading to an Injora electric screwdriver. That is 100% what I recommend. Okay, now we flip over to this side. Wow, hold on. Give me 1 second for that. Alright, so now that I got the grossness out of my hub, we can do these bolts. And now we just gently push. And we can go ahead and remove this bolt. Alright. And then this back side. Oh, come on. There we go. Now that we got those removed, we'll start with the back first. So, there's going to be a bolt at the top right here. That's the one you're going to want to remove next. And there's going to be a lot of bolts, so remember to always grab your wife's or your mother's favorite Tupperware so you can continue separating. And stock TRX4Ms, they like to fight, unfortunately. And if they do fight, you can always grab the manual tool to argue with it. And like that. Alright, and now for the front. This one's going to be a little more tricky because there's a servo involved. So, it's basically the same on the rear. It's this bolt right here. If you do it this way, it will remove the whole entire assembly with it. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we can just go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and use the manual tool to finish it out. There we are. Look how long that bolt is. So now what we can do is remove them from our linkage, which they will fall out. And for this front one, we're going to go ahead, since I'm keeping the assembly on the axle, we will unplug it from our ESC. And this way too, this will let you pull out the servo, and now you have your front axle completely free from the chassis. We set that off to the side, and now we are gonna remove the rear. So this happens, I call this a stuck axle. Just push your finger, wrap, thumb, pull back. And there you go. I don't know why. It's when you tighten your bolts too tight on here, it actually makes the axle bend like this, causing it to squeeze. But we can get this out of the way real quick because we don't need it right this second. So what we're going to do now is grab our new axles, and we are going to transfer everything from our old ones onto our new ones. So, like this one, we are going to take the drive shaft off. And for drive shafts, I'm using a manual tool. Oh, these bolts are 1.5. I'm sorry. We're going to use a manual tool and risk on stripping because they did not give us extra bolts. And now we can find the hole. You can also spin the axle depending on the drive shaft. Like these ones are straight holes. Normally the axle is the shape of the drive shaft is the shape of the axle head for this, but this one's just a straight hole, so we're fine. Oh, and that pin's coming out. How nice. I'll have to press that back in. See if I can do that right here. There we go. All right. Now let's put the drive shaft from this side onto the rear of our new one. There we go. And let's tighten this bad boy up. I'm just doing it snug. I am not over tightening. So for the rear stock, we're done with this. So we can set this off to the side. Oh, wait, no, we're missing two things. Next, you're gonna do your hubs. Now, to get these off, you can literally simply pull them off. And then there's normally a pin right here. It flew somewhere. I don't know where it went. There it is. It is right here. So this pin goes inside your axle. So what you're going to do is you're going to slide it into this hole right here. I like to do it up and down like this, so the pin is flat, and then you take your axle hub and work it on there, and it slides right on there. And this is what makes your wheels spin. If you did not have that pin, this hub would just spin freely, and then you would have a 3-wheel drive RC car. And now we can do the same for this side. If you can't get it up, you can always use a cheap screwdriver like this to pop off that axle hub. So again, we slide the pin right into the axle, and then we take our wheel hub, slide it right on there. And now this axle is done. We can set this off to the side for the part spin. Set this one off to the side because we are done for now. Now let's focus on the front. We'll do the hex nuts or the hexes, and we'll also do the servo. So starting out, we are going to do the hexes since you already know how to do that now. Yep, this one's stuck, so I'm going to use a cheap screwdriver. Flathead preferably. It'll be able to get under it. And then we'll poke this out. If you can't get the pin out with your fingers, you can always use some tweezers. Alright, and then let's get the pin from the side. And this will also be a good time that you'll end up cleaning all the hair and gunk from your house or your carpets, depending how dirty your carpets are, or just driving it around. They collect a lot of hair, so this is a good way to clean it also. There we go. And now we can do the servo. So the servo is going to be special because it's locked in right here, and we have the horn right here. So let's go ahead and remove this horn. Set that off to the side, and now our axle spins freely, or moves side to side freely. All right, so now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to press, or yeah, spread this part and this part separately. So best way I've learned to do that is, I'm still learning. So I'm going to take a screwdriver. This is a smaller one. I do not recommend using the wrong tool for the wrong purpose, but I'm going to spread that apart like that. And no, that did not help me. I might go ahead and remove the servo to make this job a little more easier on me. Supposed to be teaching you how to do this, and I'm learning the hard way right now. I'm going to set my servo off to the side, and yep, that makes it easier to move. There we go. All I did was I pushed up and then put my finger in and spread like that, and it got it out freely. So we are done with this. It can go in the parts bin. All right, now let's put this onto here. Obviously, like the, that's on backwards. Unlike the new one, mine does not have pins to hold it in place, so we're just gonna hope it stays on. I mean, it's pretty snug. And then I'm gonna carefully install the servo back. So to do that, you just go in at an angle, and you can take it off to make it easier. I don't know why I'm being complicated. So slide it in like this and push down, and then it's honestly how you do it. And we can go ahead and put these 2 bolts back in. When tightening things back together, unless the bolt is severely long, I'm not gonna tighten down with the electric screwdriver, honestly, to prevent stripping. Strip screws are not fun. And again, these bolts, like everything else on RCs, you want it snug. If you tighten too tight, this split right here will start to spread. All right, we got that in there, so we can go ahead and slide it on our axle. Now, if you have these 2 slits like the other one, then yeah, you're going to want to put the servo mount on first, and then you are safe to proceed. Now that I have this on, I'm going to go ahead and put the bolt in to hold the servo horn together. so it helps sturdy up the servo so it can stop fighting us. And again, manual screwdriver. Even though this one's long, I don't want to strip this bolt. Now, there is definitely other methods on doing this. Other YouTubers might do it one way. I'm doing it this way because this is what helps me best. All right. Now that we got that back on, we are officially ready to start installing. So let's do the front. It's the most painful. So grab your chassis back. And the best way I like to do this is I'm going to feed the servo wire through and get it lined up. And then we're going to try and get these top two links inside right here, because this one bolt holds the servo in, thus holding these two links in. Now, sometimes it's easier just to remove these two links, install them on here, and then install it back on here, which is something I might end up doing just for the convenience and easy factor of it. Yeah, we're going to do it that way because it is just easier to do. So let's go ahead and remove this side bolt. Now, I am not going to use the electric screwdriver on this because these bolts actually recently just stripped, and getting them out was an absolute nightmare. And then we're going to do the same bolt on the other side, holding that link in. And now these are free. So what we're going to do is we're just going to feed it right here inside. We're going to take our bolt and line it all up, because that bolt's going right here, and we're able to feed that. And before it comes out this side, we can put this side in. So you see how it's hanging out right here. Right now it's through the servo mount, through the axle, through the first link, and stopped right before, so we can install this link in, and then we can start feeding it through. Now, this aftermarket one axle is from Injora, so the inside middle mount right here, you guys will barely be able to see that, is threaded. So I actually got to take my screwdriver and screw it in. And if we've done this correctly, the screw will slowly start going in, which it is. And then eventually you'll start to see it appear on this side. And if it's not, what end up happening is it'll do this, where it'll start separating before. So just back the screwdriver out, push down on the servo mount, and it should start peeking through any time soon. Yep, there it is. So it filled up that gap right there. You can see it spinning. So that's done. Now we can install it back on here. So what I like to do is we're going to get this set up so we feed our servo wire, slide our servo in. Now I'm going to attach the drive shaft, and then you are ready to line up. I said we're gonna put the drive shaft together. Thank you. And then put our link in, put the bolt in, screw that in. I'm not gonna screw it in all the way. All right, this one's lined up, hopefully, so the bolt can feed through and completely miss the link. Come on, there we go. I hope. All right, now we can take our screwdriver. Bada bing. Hair go away. Hair go away. Hair go away. Thank you. All right. Please tell me I did this correctly. Sweet, I did. So now we see that screw is going in. And now we can, yeah, okay. So now we can start doing the fun part of these. So, line it up. Sweet, went in perfectly. Of course, my suspension's on the wrong side. We line that up. So there's gonna be two sides to every shock. You want the flat side to go against the axle. So we can take our axle screw, feed it through. It helps if the axle is facing the other way. Push. So the best way is to have it like this and then push the shock all the way against it. And then taking your screwdriver, praying to God it stays perfectly like this, you can now screw in this part. And then right before we go all the way through, we can put our link in. There we go. Now we can hold it, feed it through. And again, like the servo, this part on your axle is threaded. So you'll be screwing through this whole process. And now the same for this side. So we're gonna take our screw, feed it through a little bit of the way in. I said a little bit of the way in. We're gonna line it up with the hole, push the shock all the way, move the axle. Pray to God this stays a little bit. Screw it in. And then we're gonna take our link. We're gonna take our link. Hey, stop fighting me. We're gonna move this. Yeah, if it doesn't line up, just move the ball joint inside. Sometimes that helps, like that. And now we can screw this in. Snug. You can strip bolts. All right, you've done the hard part. Give yourself a pat on the back. Now for the fun part. This is easier, so much easier. So now what I was talking about is, okay, these ones are not, but right here is threaded on both sides. So it actually helps because you can screw it in the shock so it goes all the way through, and then you can stop it right before, and now you can hold it in. Because stock TRX4M axles, you slide the bolt through and now it's loose like this. So when you go to put the link in, it can go whoop, but not Injora. There's threaded, so you can stop it right before, and it'll hold your shock in, which I love. So we are gonna do the top ones first, which are gonna be these two bottom ones right here. I lied, we're gonna be doing the drive shaft first, because if you don't, it's a pain. more than it is now. All right, so we're gonna put this top one in. And one of these bolts is larger than the other. I lied, they're all the same. So you're gonna slide it through. You're gonna take your other one. It's hard to show you guys, to be honest. Yep, there you go. And now we can screw it in. And there's the top one. Now we can get the drive shaft back together. Stupid RC. Now we can get our shocks back in place. So take your bolt, push it all on through, line it up, make sure your shock is against here. And oh no, no, thank you. Not your time. Nah. All right, maybe you can start screwing it in first. Push it all the way. Stay. There we go. I see the drive shaft. All right, we slide it in. Make sure that's all nice and lined up. Perfect. Now before I screw this one down all the way, I am gonna frickin' kill these drive shafts. Oop, I said the K word. I'm gonna put these drive shafts back together. All right, treat you like a dog. Stay. There we go. And now the other side. Okay, so we can screw this in, make sure that's there. If you like your sanity, this is the wrong hobby for you. All right, last link. That is not it. Last link. Thank God. All right, last but not least, we need wheels. So let's go ahead and put, well, wait, hold on. Let's go ahead and put this back in right there so it's not in our way. I like to strap it down here. I mean, that's a lot of wire to deal with, so we can put our wheels back on. Can you hear my upstairs neighbors? I don't know if you can. If you can, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. If you're new to the RC world, you are going to have a nice love-hate relationship with your RC cars. They are therapy, though. I think. Don't test me, RC. This is why I have 12 more. All right. Let's put this one on. All right. Jesus. I love them. All right. Sometimes I feel like I'm getting bullied by an RC. Alright, it's finally done. You have officially switched your TRX4M axles. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And if you want to see any other tutorial, leave it down in the description below. Next is links. So keep an eye out on that tutorial. I will see you next time. Remember to always grease your drive shafts, and I'll catch you later. Bye.